Hi guys, episode 8 now I think. Kicking this off with driving down to a place called Fabrication to pick up some laser cut pieces of steel for the bike. And we'll go from there, see what else we can get done. So I ordered 2 sets just in case the fitment goes wrong on the first frame, or if I want to get another front triangle made up for whatever reason. So you've got these, 2 of these will go in one set. These are where the rocker pivot goes here, and then these will be the lower shock mount. So again, 2 of these that get welded into the front triangle, and the shock will bolt through these lower holes here. So these have been laser cut. And they look pretty good, to be fair. So I think I've got off one for 5mm steel plate, which should be more than strong enough. A few new bits to show you. Got some new lathe pieces and tools. One of which is this large drill chuck, which goes in the mill stop. And that allows me to drill centre holes and larger holes into some of the parts. So along with that, I've also bought some centre drills. Also decided to get some more cutting tools, just because all I had was that. So also got some steel tube, and needs a little bit of cutting, turning to size, but that will be the rocker pivot and the main pivot that fit in the actual frame, the front triangle. I've almost done the upper head tube slot, turning it around now to face off this to the right. Length of that should be 30mm, it's about 2.5mm over, but I've done the step there to sit into the head tube, and I've done 12mm into 8mm bores there and reamed those. So the 8mm will go into the bush on the fixture, and the 12mm will probably have a 12mm dowel that interconnects this top piece to the bottom piece to try and keep everything concentric. And that's it, so I'll flip that around and do that, and that's right depth, that'll be the top cut done, and then I'll try and do the bottom cut. I've turned up upper and lower locations, down in place, spins, but yeah, not really any play, it's good. And so next, what I'll call, I want to get a bit more of a frame looking. I can use those templates to cut the miters on the bottom and the top tube, and then hopefully that'll fit that nice, and then once I've got the rest of the upstands I can start doing the rest. So I've made a mess with doing those location parts. Now I thought I'd try and fit out the top tube, sorry, down tube. I've marked the centre line. Then what I have to do is use the templates I've made previously, line them up with the centre line, both sides, tape it in place, and then cut the miter joints and fit in the jig. Now I've done the rough cuts with the Dremel. I'm using the top pieces of the clamp to act as a clamp guide, basically, so I don't squash or bend the tube. So I'm going to need to start filing this miter joint to do the finishing, and then trial fit it on the jig. After doing some more fettling, this tube is almost there. Getting around, it's just slightly gappy on the bottom and the top. So I've just got to work the sides a bit more. So I've just also turned up the seat tube locating bush. So that's it there. I had to turn both sides on this one, so it looks quite nice. And it fits the seat tube quite nice, I'll show you. Beautiful. And that's it down in the fixture. It's all going on. We've got some printing going on for the support, and going to be turning the main shot pivot and rock pivot. End face I've tried to turn first, and then the outside with the help of this centre with the bearing on the end to try and hold everything in positioning and concentric. And then I've turned the outside face to try and get it all nice and square, and then swap it over to mount in the chuck, but it still seems to, it's a bit better, but it still seems to wobble. So I thought I'd just try and do some internal boring anyway, moving and flexing too much, so I'm not too sure if I'm going to be able to get a good enough tolerance and fit on the bearing. Might have to go use a different lathe or ask someone else to do this one. Just thought I'd update on some of the design work that I've been doing as well. So I've realised after getting this made up on the lathe, putting the tube in, I hadn't really thought about it before, but I was sort of lacking support for that tube before it gets tacked into place. Even with this in place and the location for that, it's all going to be, it'll support it partially, but it won't you know, make sure it's in the correct place. So what I've done is effectively created this little 3D printed support. It's got these joins here because it's going to have to come in from the side to go around the location for the main pivot, which is this. This is turn piece, so it should sit around this turned location for the main pivot. So the process, I guess, will be seat tube will be in place on here, over the top of the location because it will have the cutout, and then these 3D printed supports will come in from the side, join together, and then bolt or dowel through the base plate here. So that should then give me a controlled support for the seat tube, and stop it from moving anywhere. It should locate it quite nicely. So the 3D printed clamp's been done. The two halves. That should go together. Okay, so I've just finished off the BB mount. I've put a bush in here, got a dowel. So now, this is it here. Real pain really. I had to turn this little bit down here first, and the face, and then mount it there so I could turn the rest of this. This section here is eccentric because it was so difficult to clamp over such a long piece. I had to use a support at the end as well, but we got it in there in the end. I had to go to 8mm here because the lathe wasn't big enough to allow me to use 12mm, which is my original plan. Solid. The BB's got the bearings on, so that's how I decided to do it. Just to summarise where I've got to in this episode, I've got these cups turned up and they're fitted. As you saw, I started to fit the down tube. I've started to cut this end, but I haven't filed that end yet. I also turned up the BB location and showed you that fitting in. And these are the seat tube supports. They're also in place now. I also redid the support for the lower shock mount. And I've got the spacer from before as well, so that will go in between the plates. I also had that seat tube location done as well. And then also I decided to 3D print both the rocker and the main pivot. Got those 3D printed so I could mock them up and start fitting them out whilst I wait for the actual ones to be made. This is how the steel stiffening bracket's going to fit. Obviously what I didn't show you was the turning up of the rocker location here, so I did that. That took a while. So really the only location I've got left to do is the main pivot location to turn up. Once I've turned that up, I can start getting properly into the fitment of the tubes. I also forgot to mention the reason for the title of this video. I've been made redundant, so I don't actually have a job right now, but it's kind of what's been taking a lot of time out of this project is just job searching, interviews, all sorts of stuff really. I've got a couple of options, hopefully progressing, but we'll see. Anyone out there who needs an engineer for any bike stuff, give me a shout. I'll try and help out. Next episode, you'll see some more printed bits like this, and some design changes to the rocker, and if I get time, maybe a new moulded rocker, but that's all to come. See ya.